Hello everyone, welcome to the UGC NET Management 60 days 60 minutes challenge. Yesterday we finished here where we discussed we need to make 4 changes. The first is the scientific management question which belong to unit 1, so we have made that change. Theory action which was a motivational theory belongs to unit 2, so we have made a topic chapter on this too in unit 2. Course progression for unit 2, we have enabled the course progression for unit 2, and the evaluation of unit 2 can be done on full screen. So now we will move ahead with unit 2. So we'll just mark these as complete. We did this yesterday. Oof. So we'll study from this part, factors influencing perception. Uh, what did we study about perception? Perception is uh, one event, two different experiences or opinions people can have based on what they saw. So that is how they perceived it. So perception is often a subjective, selective and biased experience shaped by various internal and external factors. Two people may witness the same event but interpret it very differently. Why does this happen? The answer lies in the interplay of elements related to the perceiver, the situation and the target. Factors in the perceiver, factors in the situation and factors in the target. So there are three. Perception is equal to a function of perceiver, situation and target. So the interpretation of reality is shaped by who you are as a perceiver, where and when it happens, the situation and what or whom you are observing. So factors in the perceiver, there are internal psychological influences, how you as the observer interpret what you see or experience. Attitude, a person with a positive attitude may see an event as an opportunity while someone negative might view it as a threat. Motives, if you are hungry you will more quickly notice a food stall. Needs and desires direct your focus. Interest, a person interested in fashion will notice clothing more than someone who isn't. Experiences, a past experience, good or bad, with a teacher may shape how you perceive that teacher's action today. Expectation, if you expect something like reward or punishment, you might see what confirms that expectation even if it's not accurate. Next. Factors in the situation, there are external contextual elements that shape how we interpret something. Time, perception differ at different times of day. A loud noise at midnight is scarier than the same noise at noon. Work setting, a person's behavior in the formal meeting will be interpreted differently than in a casual hangout, even if it's the same action. Work setting. A person's behavior in a formal meeting will be interpreted differently than in a casual hangout, even if it's the same action. Social setting. Group norms or cultural surrounding may impact whether you perceive a behavior as polite or rude. Factors in the target, aka stimulus factor. This refers to characteristics of the person or object being observed or draws attention and how we interpret it. Mm. Novelty. Something new or unusual is more likely to stand out. Motion. We naturally notice things that move in our visual field, like someone waving in a crowd. Sounds. Loud or distinct sounds catch attention and influence perception. Size. Large objects draw more focus. A bigger poster versus a small note. Background. Perception is influenced by what surrounds the target. A calm person in a chaotic setting may stand out as admirable or suspicious. Proximity. Things closer to you physically or emotionally are more likely to be noticed and considered relevant. Similarity. Items that resemble each other are often perceived as part of a group. So the summary is short and sweet. Perception is a function of perceiver, who you are, situation, where and when it happens, to what or whom it happens, target. Next, biases based on perception. As we just discussed, perception is a subjective experience. So selective perception is refers to the process by which individuals perceive what they want to in media while ignoring opposite viewpoints. It's the tendency to filter and interpret information based on one's personal interest, experiences, attitudes, and expectations. People often focus on certain elements of an event or interaction that align with their preconception, distorting how information is received. This can lead to misunderstandings or biased interpretations. If an employee has a poor relationship with a colleague, they might selectively focus on the negative aspect of that colleague's performance while ignoring positive contribution. Then comes the halo effect. Halo effect is when the perception of one positive characteristic person influences the overall judgment of their other qualities. Essentially, if a person has one quality that is viewed positively, being good looking or an excellent public speaker, people might assume they possess other unrelated positive qualities. Explanation. This bias leads to overly favorable assessment of someone based on limited or superficial traits. In the workplace, a manager might rate an employee's all areas just because of one standout trait, that they are very punctual or dress well. A manager might think that an employee who is always punctual and dresses well is also highly competent, even though their actual performance may not reflect their assumption. Stereotyping involves assuming that individuals possess certain characteristics because they belong to a particular group. It's the act of generalizing someone based on their social group, such as race, gender, age, or ethnicity. Stereotyping happens when people judge others without fully understanding or knowing them as individuals. This can lead to unfair judgment and decision based on generalized traits rather than individual qualities. Assuming that younger employees are tech savvy or that older employees are resistant to change is a form of stereotyping. It can limit opportunities for those individuals based on generalized assumption. Horn's effect is the opposite of halo effect. It refers to when the perception of one negative characteristic of a person influences the overall judgment of other qualities. If an individual exhibits one negative trait like poor punctuality, it may lead to others to assume that they have other negative traits, even if those traits are unrelated. Explanation. This bias distorts our perception negatively. A single negative trait can influence the overall evaluation of a person, leading to biased and generally unfavorable view. If an employee fails to meet a deadline in one instance, others may assume they are generally unreliable, even though their performance in other areas may be excellent. Florence Clockhorn and Henry Strawbeck. Okay, now we are studying value orientation theory, 1960s. Clockhan and Tech. Florence Clockhan and Henry Stroutbeck developed the value orientation theory in the 1960s, which identifies different cultural value orientation across societies. Unlike theories focusing on organizational climate such as those of Shine and Likert, Clockhan and Stroutbeck's theory is concerned with societal values, how different cultures perceive the world. The theory was built on the premise that all societies, regardless of their geographical or historical context, must address a set of universal human problems. The way different societies solve these problems form the basis of their cultural values. So we just studied factors affecting perception and the biases in perception. Now we move ahead to values, personality, perception, values, attitude, learning and motivation. So value orientation theory. Human nature. This dimension focuses on how society perceives human nature. Is it inherently good, bad, or mix of both? In some societies, people are seen as fundamentally good. Many Western and Scandinavian cultures. Evil natured. Other cultures may view humans as inherently evil and in need of control. Some religious and traditional societies. Mixed. Many cultures strike a balance, seeing people as having both good and bad tendencies that can be shaped through socialization. Relationship to nature. This dimension assesses the degree to which people believe they should control or live in harmony with nature. Cultural variations assesses the degree to which they believe the people should control or live in the relationship to nature. Mastery over nature. Some cultures, many Western societies emphasize controlling and manipulating nature for human benefit. Harmony with nature. Other societies, many indigenous cultures, believe in living in harmony with nature, respecting it rather than dominating it. Subjugation to nature. Certain cultures accept the force of nature as uncontrollable and work with what nature gives them. Some Asian or agrarian cultures. Relationship to people. The dimension addresses the nature of social relationship and the value of individualism versus collectivism. Cultural variation, individualism. Some cultures have place a very high value on individual autonomy and achievement. Example, Western cultures. Collectivism. Other cultures prioritize group harmony and collective welfare over individual needs. Many Asian, African, and Latin American cultures. Hierarchical. Some cultures may emphasize clear social hierarchies, where rules are rigid and authority is respected, that is, monarchies or caste-based societies. Then comes activity orientation. This dimension looks at the value placed on doing an activity versus being existence. Cultural variation. Cultures focus on action and achievement where people are valued for their accomplishments. In some societies, there is a higher value placed on simply existing and experiencing life rather than always doing. Becoming. Some cultures are centered on personal growth and transformation, not just doing or being. Time orientation. This dimension considers how cultures view time, whether they focus on more on the present, past, or future. This dimension considers how cultures view time, whether they focus more on the future-oriented cultures that focus on planning progress and future outcomes. Many modern Western cultures, present-oriented societies that emphasize enjoying the present moment without worrying too much about future consequences. Some African, South American, and Mediterranean cultures, past-oriented cultures that look back to tradition, history, and heritage for guidance. Many traditional or religious societies. Human activities. The dimension is concerned with how societies organize their activities and values around them. Cultural variation. Some cultures view work and productivity as a central part of life. The United States. Leisure. In other cultures, leisure and relaxation may be central. And rest. Some cultures prioritize rest and reflection, which may result in less of focus on constant activity. So why it's important? Clockhorn and Strodbach value orientation theory allows us to understand cultural differences in values and behavior across societies, while organizational climate models like those of Shand focus on the dynamics within organization. Clockhorn and Strodbach theory is a broader lens to view how entire societies approach issues like human nature, relationship, and time. It helps individuals working in cross-cultural environments understand how various values influence behavior and decision making. Understanding these culture orientations can improve international relations, shape global business strategies, and cross-cultural communication. So there are six dimension: human nature orientation, relationship to nature, relationship to people, activity orientation, time orientation, and human activities. This theory does not focus on organizational climate in the traditional sense, but rather on how society values influence broader cultural patterns. So this is value orientation theory developed by F.K. and H.S. in 1960s. Cognitive dissonance theory. Cognitive dissonance theory was proposed by Leon Festinger in 1957. It is one of the most in physiology. The theory explains how people strive for internal consistency and how they deal with situations where their thoughts, beliefs, or attitudes conflict with their actions. Festinger argues that attitude follows behavior. Attitude follows behavior. Whatever your behavior is, attitude will follow. Okay. What is cognitive dissonance? Leon Festinger argued that attitude follows behavior. Cognitive dissonance refers to the psychological discomfort or tension that a person experiences when they hold two or more conflicting beliefs, attitudes, or values on, or when their behavior conflicts with their beliefs. This discomfort motivates individuals to reduce the inconsistency, either by changing their belief, attitude, or behaviors to restore harmony. Example: imagine a person who values environmental sustainability but drives a gas guzzling car. The conflict between their belief in sustainability and their behavior driving a fuel inefficient car creates cognitive dissonance. Key components of cognitive dissonance: inconsistency. The root of cognitive dissonance is an inconsistency between attitude, beliefs, or behaviors. For example, when a person believes that smoking is harmful but continues to smoke, there is an inconsistency between their belief and their action. Psychological discomfort. The inconsistency creates a feeling of psychological discomfort, which the individual is motivated to reduce. This discomfort is the dissonance in cognitive dissonance theory. To alleviate this discomfort, individuals are more consistency. To alleviate this discomfort, individuals are more this could involve changing either their behavior, beliefs, or the way they perceive the situation. Ways to reduce cognitive dissonance. People employ different strategies to reduce cognitive dissonance and achieve a sense of internal consistency. Here are the main ways. Changing behavior. The person can change their behavior to align with their beliefs or attitudes. For example, in the case of a person who values sustainability but drives a gas guzzling car, they might choose to drive a more fuel efficient or electric vehicle to reduce dissonance. Changing beliefs or attitudes. If changing behavior is not feasible, the person might adjust their beliefs or attitude to justify the action. For example, they might convince themselves that driving a larger car isn't as harmful as they once thought, or they may focus on other actions they take for the environment, like recycling. Minimizing the importance of conflict. Another way to reduce dissonance is by downplaying the importance of the inconsistency. For example, the person might argue that the individual actions don't significantly impact the environment, thus making the inconsistency seem less. Either they'll change the changing behavior. So they might choose to they will change their behavior, or they will change their belief or attitude itself, or they will downplay the importance of the conflict. A smoker may experience cognitive dissonance when they read about the harmful effects of smoking. To resolve this discomfort, they might change their behavior and quit smoking, change their belief by convincing themselves that smoking isn't as harmful as made out to be, minimize the conflict by rationalizing that they don't need to quit because they enjoy smoking, life is short. Cognitive dissonance theory emphasizes the human tendency to seek consistency and harmony in thought, belief, and action. The discomfort created by inconsistency motivates individuals to resolve it, often by adjusting attitude, beliefs, or behaviors to bring them into alignment. This theory offers valuable insights into how people change their. So there are three parts of cognitive dissonance theory. What it means: um, attitude follows the behavior. It refers to the psychological discomfort or tension that a person experiences when they hold two or more conflicting beliefs, attitude, or values, or when their behavior conflicts with their beliefs. So either they will change their behavior, they will change their belief, or the values that they have, or they might downplay the effect, the importance of the conflict. This is called the cognitive dissonance theory. Next, we come to the process of learning, step by step. The process of learning, step by step breakdown, acquiring knowledge, what it means. This is the initial phase where the learners are exposed to new information or experiences. It could happen through reading, listening to lectures, observing others, hands-on practice. Sources of knowledge are books, trainings, peers, experiences, media, formal education. In an organization, employees acquire knowledge or during onboarding, training sessions, or through job shadowing. A new employee learns the company's customer service protocol through a training manual. The process of learning. A new employee learns the company's customer service protocol through a training module. First comes in the process of learning, the first step is acquiring knowledge. Second is assimilation or retention. At this stage, the learner processes the information, organizes it mentally, and stores it in memory. Retention ensures that the information doesn't just go in on one ear and out the other. Involves attention, encoding, and rehearsal repetition. Without retention, knowledge cannot be used effectively. Example: the employee practices customer service scripts, helping them memorize standard responses and company policies. Assimilation or retention. At this stage, the learner processes the information, organizes it mentally, and stores it in memory. Retention ensures that the information doesn't just go in one ear and out the other. Internalization of new knowledge. Now the learner deeply understands the information and integrates it into the existing knowledge framework. It becomes meaningful and usable, not just memorized. So first is acquiring knowledge, second is assimilation, that is uh, understand retain assimilation or retention. Okay. A learner processes the information, third it stores for long term in the long term memory, called internalization of new knowledge. Internalization leads to conceptual clarity, the ability to explain, teach others, or adapt the information to new context. In learning theory, this aligns with constructivist approaches where learners actively make sense of information. This aligns with constructivist uh, approaches where learners actively make sense of information. The employee starts understanding why specific words or phrases are used in customer service, not just how to say them. And then application of new learning. The learner now applies the knowledge in real life or simulated scenarios. Application tests whether learning has actually occurred. This step converts mental knowledge into observable action, problem solving, task completion, decision making, and skill demonstration. The employee handles a customer query independently using the learned protocols. Application of new learning. So first is acquiring knowledge, second is retention, third is internalization, the fourth is application of that knowledge, and fifth is using learning in all situations, generalization or transfer. The knowledge or skill becomes transferable and is used across different contexts. It is a sign that learning is truly mastered. This is essential for adapting to change, solving novel problems, and performing consistently. Learners adjust and apply knowledge creatively to new problems or environments. The emphasis the same principles with a new type of customer issue they haven't encountered before. Learning, using learning in all situations, and then self-monitored learning. What it means, the learner reflects on their learning process, evaluates their own understanding, and adjusts strategies for improvement. Goal setting, self-assessment, seeking feedback, refining approach, meta. This is the highest level of learning, thinking about one's thinking. The employee notices that certain responses work better than others, so they adapt their style and seek feedback to improve further. Why this process in education helps design better learning experiences and curriculum, drives effective training programs and employee development for individuals, promotes lifelong learning, adaptability, and personal growth. Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Abraham Maslow, a prominent psychologist, um, developed the hierarchy of needs in 1943. According to Maslow, human beings have a set of needs that are organized in a hierarchical structure. These needs must be satisfied in a specific order, beginning with the most basic and progressing uh, towards higher level needs. It means the first type of there is a base. First, there are human beings have different needs. Based on which need is filled, they move on to the next type of need. First is physiological needs. At the base of Maslow's pyramid are physiological needs, which include fundamental requirements for human survival. These needs include the necessity for life, such as food, water, shelter, sleep, and warmth. Without fulfilling these basic needs, a person's ability to focus on other areas of life is severely limited. They are the most basic and primary needs, and they must be first met first before any other needs become motivating forces. Example: food, water, air, shelter, sleep, medicare. In Hindi, we can call it as roti kapda makan. Then comes safety needs. First is रोटी है ना, कपड़ा है, मकान ऊपर है. Safety needs. Once physiological needs are met, the individual's focus shifts to safety needs. These needs encompass both physical safety and emotional security. People seek to feel safe from harm, danger, or threats, both in their immediate surrounding and in the larger society. This category includes need for stability, protection, and freedom from fear. It also extends to financial security and stable living environment. Once physiological needs are met, the individual focus shifts to safety needs. These needs encompass both of safety and emotional security. People seek to feel safe from harm, danger, or threats, both in their immediate surrounding and in larger society. This category includes needs for stability, protection, and in the larger society, protection and freedom from fear. It also extends to financial security and a stable living environment. Love and belonging needs. After safety is ensured, individuals begin to seek out love and belonging. The third level of need involves the human desire for social connections and relationship. Humans are social creatures and their need to form emotional bonds with others is essential to psychological well-being. This includes the desire for friendship, family, and romantic connections, a lack of social interactions, feeling of isolation. So first, a human will always try to fulfill his need of food, water, air, okay, sleep, shelter. After these needs are fulfilled, he should have an environment where he feels safe. In his house, he should feel safe. In his working place, or if he is a student, there where he goes to study, he should feel safe. If these two needs are met, then he will this individual will search for love or belonging needs. Then he will try to make social bonds. If these two needs first are met, then he will try to make social bonds in, let's say, in joint family, or if you are a student with your friend, you'll try to make friends. If you are working at a place, work colleagues, and also love and belonging needs.
friendship, romantic relationship, family ties, social group, and a sense of community. Then comes esteem needs. Once love and belonging needs are satisfied, people strive to meet esteem needs. These needs are concerned with the individual's sense of worth, respect, and accomplishment. There are two components of to self-esteem needs. Self-esteem, which involves the individual's own sense of personal achievement and confidence, and esteem from others, which includes recognition, status, and respect from others. Fulfilling esteem needs fosters feelings of competence, accomplishment, and dignity. Self-actualization. At the top of Maslow's pyramid is self-actualization, which represents the fulfillment of an individual's potential. This level involves the desire to become the best version of oneself, achieving personal growth and pursuing meaningful goals. Self-actualization is about realizing one's abilities, talents, and creativity and striving to become the most authentic, complete version of oneself. Maslow believed that self-actualization is unique to each individual and may look different for everyone. Progression through hierarchy. So Maslow suggests that first we have to fulfill the lower needs, then comes the top needs. The last two needs can be said as self-actualization needs. The starting, yeah, first first three are like the basic needs you can consider. You need security, physiological safety, love and belonging, esteem, and self-actualization. We'll just take a 5 minutes break and then we'll continue with the ARG theory of motivation. Yes, so getting back, now we just studied the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now we'll be studying the ERG theory. The ERG theory was developed by Clayton Alderfer in 1969 as an extension and modification of Maslow's hierarchy of needs. ERG stands for existence, relatedness, and growth. Existence, relatedness, and growth, which are three core needs that motivate individuals. Unlike Maslow's theory, which posits that needs are hierarchical, lower level needs must be satisfied before higher level ones. ERG theory allows for more flexibility, acknowledging that people may pursue multiple needs simultaneously, and that needs can be reprioritized depending on the situation. Alderfer's theory suggests that the satisfaction of one need does not necessarily have to occur before the next need becomes a motivator, and that a person can be motivated by need from different categories at the same time. The three core needs in ARG theory: existence needs. Definition: these are basic physical material needs that ensure survival and physical well-being. These are basic physical and material needs. Food, water, shelter, job security, health benefits, and other basic physiological and safety needs. Explanation: existence needs correspond to Maslow's hierarchy. Physiological and safety needs. They are essential for survival and satisfaction. First is existence needs. Second is relatedness, which is you can say, if we go back, ERG, growth. Okay. So Maslow's hierarchy has five sections. The first two is they have put in E, correct, existence needs. Now love and belonging they can put it R, relatedness. And then G, growth, they can put esteem and self-actualization. So this is how you can divide ERG. These are social needs that involve relationship with others, other desire for meaningful social connections, relationship with family, friends, colleagues, and a desire for recognition, respect, and a sense of belonging. Relatedness needs are similar to Maslow's belongingness and esteem needs. They involve interpersonal relationship and the need to feel. Growth needs, these are needs that are related to personal development, self-improvement, achieving one's full potential. Esteem estimate. So if you know Maslow's hierarchy, you will also know ERG theory. There was a difference of 15 years in making of these two theories. We can see Abraham Maslow and A and C. We can remember AM and CA, Abraham Maslow and Clayton Alderfer. And growth needs will be the self-esteem, self-actualization, personal achievement, and desire for self. And this one says the needs are non-hierarchical, meaning you can pursue multiple type of needs at the same time together. Frustration regression principle. One of the most significant aspects of ARG theory is the frustration regression principle, which states that if an individual is unable to satisfy a higher level need, they may refocus their energy on fulfilling lower level needs. For example, if a person cannot achieve personal growth, they may regress and focus more on fulfilling existence needs. Simultaneous pursuit of needs. Unlike Maslow's theory, which suggests that people need to satisfy lower needs before higher needs can be addressed, CRG theory acknowledges that people may work to satisfy multiple needs at the same time. For instance, an employee can simultaneously seek better social relationship while striving for personal growth, even if some existence needs, such as job security, are not yet fully met. Comparison with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Practical implication of ERG theory. Workplace motivation, flexible motivation, employee support and development, criticism of ERG theory. Oversimplification, cultural individual values, application across context, conclusion. This will mark it as complete. Then we come expectancy motivation theory, 1964. Um, Expectancy theory developed by Victor H. Froome in 1964 is a motivation theory that explains how individuals make decisions about their behavior based on the expected outcomes. It is widely used in organizational setting to understand how employees decide whether or not to put effort into their work. Core idea: people are motivated to act in a certain way if they expect that their actions will lead to desired results. Motivation depends on the strength of an individual's expectation that a certain effort will lead to a specific performance level, which in turn will lead to desired reward. Key components of expectancy theory. Room's model is based on three variables: expectancy, effort will give performance. Definition: the belief that increased effort will lead to better performance. If I put in more effort, will I perform better? Influenced by skills, past experience, training, resources, and confidence. Instrumentability. Performance dictates outcome. And what is the value of outcome? The belief that good performance will be rewarded. If I perform well, will I receive the reward or outcome? Trust in system, transparency, and clarity of structures. Valence. Value of outcome. The value of individual places on the reward they expect to receive. Do I value the reward I'll get? Individual need, goals, values, and preferences. Formula. Conceptual. Motivation is equal to expectancy into instrumentability into valence. Motivation is if you believe that increased efforts will lead to better performance and that the better performance will be rewarded, and if the reward is what you want to receive. Expectancy, instrumentability, valence. Motivation is equal to expectancy into instrumentability into valence. Motivation is equal to expectancy into instrumentability into valence. First, you should believe that increased effort will give you will give better performance. Instrumentability, better performance will give you will be rewarded, and valence, the reward reward they expect to receive. Motivation is expectancy, instrumentability, and valence. Example in the workplace: an employee might ask, if I work overtime this week, can I actually complete this project? If I complete the project, will I get a bonus? Do I even care about the bonus, or would I rather have time off? Theory of needs. David McClelland. So yes, expectancy motivation theory. Expectations is equal to uh, motivation. Motivation is equal to expectancy. Okay, we are studying expectancy motivation theory. So motivation is equal to expectancy into instrumentability into valence. Now we study the theory of needs, also acquired needs. Theory is proposed by David McClelland. Focused on the idea that people are motivated by three primary needs, which are learned or acquired over time based on experience: need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. That's all. David McClelland's theory of needs, also known as the acquired needs theory, focuses on the idea that people are motivated by three primary needs, which are learned or acquired over time based on experiences. Need for achievement. This refers to the desire to accomplish difficult tasks, set challenging goals, and achieve personal success. People with a high need for achievement seek situations where they can make progress responsibly. They can take personal responsibility for solving problems and receive feedback on their progress. They prefer tasks that are moderately challenging, neither too easy nor too difficult. People with a high uh, need for achievement are often motivated by their desire to succeed and prove themselves rather than by rewards or external recognition. Need for affiliation. This is the desire to form close personal relationship with others. People with a high need for affiliation seek to be liked, accepted, and part of a group. This need for affiliation is the desire to form close personal relationship with others. People with a high need for affiliation seek to be liked, accepted, and part of a group. They tend to be motivated by the need for social approval and often avoid situations that might lead to conflict or rejection. Individuals with a strong need for affiliation are likely to be effective in roles that require teamwork and interpersonal relationships, such as in customer service or roles that involve collaboration and group work. Need for power. This refers to the desire to influence, control, or have an impact on others. People with high need for power want to be in positions where they can affect change, make decisions, and lead others. They can be either motivated by personal power or social power to control, impact others. So, theory of needs is there are three needs. There are three needs, which primary needs which a person can acquire or they can try to pursue: need for achievement, or need for affiliation, or need for power. McClellan believed that these needs are learned through experiences rather than being innate, and they can vary in intensity among different individuals. The intensity of these needs can be shaped by culture, life experiences, and individual personality traits. McClellan suggested that understanding a person's dominant need can help organizations or leaders motivate individuals more effectively by tailoring incentives. So it says, if you are a leader, you can understand what type of need they have. They need for achievement, affiliation, or power. In the workplace, understanding which needs dominates an employee can help in designing their roles, career development paths, and motivational strategies. Someone high in need might thrive in roles that provide challenging tasks. A person high in affiliation might excel in collaborative environments, and a person high in need for power orientation may be most motivated in managerial leadership position. And we come to the Douglas McGregor theory, which is theory X, and theory Y, which we have already discussed in scientific management. Theory X assumes that employees are lazy, avoid responsibility, and need close supervision. So it requires manager. You should use a manager who can give direct the employees, as they are assumed to be lazy and they avoid responsibility. And if the employees are motivated, enjoy work, and seek responsibility when given the right environment, then you can assume a managerial you can use a manager who is participative and more supportive instead of being directive. So that is Douglas McGregor theory X and Y based two types of individuals or employees you can have in an organization. So we will important terms. Okay. So we have studied individual behavior, group theory, and the rest we'll study it later. We'll go to unit 2 evaluation. We'll try one. This we had studied yesterday, if I remember it correctly. Yes. See, organization are all macros, so human resource will be micro, and I believe resource management you are managing, so it will be micro, and we would say applied instead of theory. So I would say B3. If I see B3 as there are two options, I need one more to find the answer. C is 4. Macro theoretical is organizational theory. So left is macro applied and micro theoretical. So macro applied would be organizational development, A1. So that is how you eliminate and find the correct answer. Trait of a successful leader: assertive, persuasive, decisive. D should definitely be there. D is not there. D is here. D is here. D is here. These three are there. Let's see. Assertive, persuasive, decisive, self-confidence. E, could say we'll go with B, D, E. Assertive, decisive, and self-confident. Whistleblowing is normally unjustified in case where public interest you whistleblow allowed insufficient evidence. Mm, there is insufficient evidence to prove, so you whistleblow allowed to inspire other employees. Ulterior motive or breach of trust. Eh, insufficient evidence, there is definitely C. Now that we see the options, and B is correct, so A and C is left. Ulterior motive and breach of trust, you should. First question that we studied. Second question, according to Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which one of the following organize self-actualization? Self-actualization, the last ultimate status need will be esteem needs. We will say self-image. Oh, it was status. Let's try again. What role does organizational behavior play in the workplace? Organizational behavior is the resulting behavior of the people within the organization and is based on if the company culture is one that promotes customer service, then the employees are likely to display behavior such as friendliness and helpfulness when dealing with customers. So what role does organizational behavior play in the workforce? It represents resultant employee actions, we can say, just as we saw here. Transactional analysis does not help in problem solving, higher social status. Okay. So right now we can see there are questions asked from other topics which we haven't studied, so we are finding it difficult to, you know, finish it. Again, with transactional analysis, we don't know, but we should never try. We should always use information whatever we have, whatever the situation, make the most use of it. We'll see. Match list one. Okay, we don't know the answer. Correct. We'll see the options first. A A का 2, B का A का 4, A का 2, A का 4. So, okay, so these two and 4 are going line by together, and 1 and 3 we'll see ahead. The last answer is D, 3 3 3. So most probably it is A or C now, because the most common option was 3 3 3. A and C में से कोई आंसर है. अभी B का 1 या 4 है. Supporter encourage silent or shy members to contribute to the discussion या invite all group members one by one to speak and encourage people to participate. So B का हमें 4 लग रहा है. Correct. So we will go with this, and we are wrong. So this will be all for today. I believe हम यहाँ ही तक करेंगे. कल हम और ट्राई करेंगे. राइट नाउ वी हैव वेरी लिटिल इन्फॉर्मेशन, तो दैट्स वाई वी आर अनेबल टू हमारे टाइप ऑफ क्वेश्चंस नहीं आ हो रहे हैं जैसे एज एंड व्हेन वील डू मोर. वी हैव फिनिश्ड 38%. लेट्स सी, लेट्स ट्राई अगेन. वी हैव फिनिश्ड 38%, which is quite good. Need for status, being in a position of authority over others. Yes. Having executive privileges, definitely. Participating in pleasant social activities, could be yes. Working for the right company, the right job, no. D तो नहीं है. D is here, D is here, D is here. So A, B, C, and we are wrong again. So yeah, most probably we'll try to study it more, and then we'll try to answer the questions. As we can see, we are not yet prepared. Maybe the questions are more asked more on the second half, or randomized out of 100 questions. We'll just see in the next video. Any questions in the comments below. Thank you for joining. I'll see you tomorrow in the next episode of 60 days 60-minute challenge. Thank you.